Hey you guys, welcome back to Deanne Creates, your online hangout for Cricut crafts, celebration crafts, and whatever crafts I am inspired to make. So what are we creating today? Custom doormats. Let's get into it. First, we need to create our design, so open up your Cricut Design Space app. I purchased a blank coir doormat from Target that measured 18 by 30 inches. So you will want to make a template that matches that size. Click on the word shapes on the left hand side of the screen. Then click on the square and the little lock to unlock the square. Next, drag the shape out until it matches the size of the doormat that you purchased. I changed the color of my rectangle to orange to closely resemble the doormat, but that part's optional. Click on the word text, then type in the word love. Then you're going to choose the font that you want. If you watch any of my previous videos, then you know that I'm always using the same font that I downloaded from defont.com, but feel free to choose whatever you want. I dragged the word out until it was almost 9 inches tall and 17 inches wide. Of course, you want to keep your word under 11 by 11 inches so that it fits on your 12 by 12 mat. Unfortunately, my word was almost 17 inches wide, so here are the extra steps that I took to work around that. I clicked ungroup to separate all the letters. I still wanted the O and the V to be connected since they were touching each other, so I selected both, then right-clicked and selected weld so they would cut out in one piece. However, if you have a longer Cricut mat or a 3rd generation Cricut machine, you may not need to do these steps. Click on text, type lives in all caps, and change the font to whatever you like. I went with Bernard MT Condensed. Copy the word lives and drag it to the side. Then change the letters to spell out the word here. You're doing this to make sure that both of the words are the exact same size. Again, if you're working with a 12 by 12 mat like I am, you want to make sure that neither one of your words is wider than 11 inches. Click on Images again to find a heart that you want and then select Add to Canvas. Place the heart where you want it and drag it until it's the size that you like. Copy the heart and drag it to the other side of the template, making sure that it's even with the first heart. Delete the rectangle you made to represent the doormat and click the Make It button. Go to each page and space the images out a little bit. We will use them as stencils, so we don't want them to be too close together. Because we're working with heat transfer vinyl, you will need to mirror the images on every page. Spread your everyday iron-on vinyl out on your mat with the shiny side facing down. I know it's uncommon for people to use HTV on a doormat, but I was inspired to try this method after watching an official Cricut video. So I'll link that video in my description box if you want to check it out, since it was my inspiration for this project. You can use your braid tool to smooth your vinyl out completely. Turn the dial on your Cricut machine to iron on. Slide your Cricut mat into the machine, press the load unload button and the go button, and let your Cricut machine do its thing. Once you finish cutting all the pages, use your weeding tool to remove all the unwanted pieces. Because we're going to use our vinyl as a stencil, we will be removing all of the letters. If you want to check out another tutorial using HTV, check out my layered vinyl birthday shirt right after this video. Cut around each stencil, leaving a 1-inch border. Place your stencil or stencils on your doormat exactly where you want them so that you can get a feel of how everything is going to look when it all comes together. Set your EasyPress to a low temperature. For example, I set my EasyPress to 330 degrees for 30 seconds. I used parchment paper to avoid my EasyPress touching my doormat and messing my EasyPress up, or possibly messing up my doormat. Heat every single piece of vinyl so that it stays in place. If you notice after the vinyl cools that some parts are still not sticking to the doormat, reheat the vinyl with your EasyPress as many times as it takes until it sticks. Right here, I noticed that the letters were just a little bit slanted, so I was able to peel the vinyl off once it cooled and reapply it. I had to reheat certain parts of the vinyl at least 4 times before it would stick, so that part was kind of tedious. Once the vinyl is cooled off and stuck to the mat, you can slowly start to pull the plastic liner away from the vinyl. You have to be very careful with this part because sometimes the vinyl still wanted to come up with the plastic. I used my hand to hold the vinyl down to the doormat and separate it from the plastic liner. Also, you have to go very slow when you're separating them because you don't want to tear the vinyl or stretch it. This part was so nerve-wracking. When I finished pulling the plastic liner off of the E, I realized that some parts still weren't stuck to the doormat. So I put parchment paper on top without the plastic liner and reheated the E. And that really seemed to do the trick. According to Cricut, it's better to use HTV than permanent vinyl because your paint lines are much crisper and sharper when you remove the stencil. And after seeing the end result, I definitely would agree with that. I don't know if this was recorded earlier, so I'm going to say it again. The reason why I put this on top is because I messed up the V underneath by putting it on top of the E, the plastic liner of the E, and when I went to separate them, it got all stretched out and messed up. So what I did was I cut another V out on my Cricut, and after I peeled all the lining out, I put this on top and used the heat press to smash it down. There you go. Now it's time to paint the doormat. First, I took some permanent black acrylic craft paint and poured it directly onto the mat. Next, I dabbed the paint onto the doormat using a small paintbrush. Because the doormat has so much texture, it took several coats before I was happy with the color. After finishing the black paint, I grabbed my permanent red acrylic craft paint to paint the hearts. Again, you have to do several coats and you want to make sure that you really get down into the fibers to get an even and consistent color. I let the paint dry for several hours and then I slowly peeled off the vinyl for the finished look. Time for the big reveal. That looks good. That looks really good. Let's start with this confused V. When there were pieces of vinyl that wouldn't come off easily, I was able to remove them with my weeding tool, tweezers, or a small pair of scissors. And there you have it, an adorable custom doormat. Until the next time, I hope that you continue to add a little creativity to the world. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and keep coming back because you never know what I'll be creating next. Bye guys.